I am in Sedona, Arizona for a spiritual retreat, and we've been challenged to make a vulnerable video. A lot of stuff has been coming up for me here. I had this dream that I was this small child and there was this predator who was grooming me, and I had a similar situation when I was 20, and I felt like that inner child. I felt like a small child because I was so innocent and pure, and I had that taken from me. I realized in order to break this cycle, because every time I step out on my own, this is my first solo trip all by myself, and every time I seem to step out on my own, something bad always tends to happen to me, like a cycle with an older man. And when I got here, something scary really happened to me. I just brought everything back up. I was in survival mode and fight or flight and running for my life. It was just very scary and traumatic, but it was bringing those feelings up so that I could fully heal that and break the cycle. And in order to break the cycle, I have to authentically be myself and not hide anymore. For a long time, I had to hide who I authentically was because I grew up Catholic. I am gay. I'm a lesbian, and that was very hard for me to accept about myself because of the shame and the guilt. There was an incident where people called me gay and they said that I was going to kill myself, and I didn't feel that way at all, but I guess energetically it was what was coming from me. That really affected me, and I isolated and hid away and pulled away from having friends, and I struggled, and I wanted to make friends. I wanted to have connections, but mainly that is my biggest thing, is accepting myself for who I am and being authentically me. And it is Pride Month. I just looked down and saw 222 as I said that, and I've never celebrated Pride Month. I came out in 2020. I was met with, wow, this really is the worst year ever. I've been battling with feeling suicidal for a long time because of who I love and who I am. But I know that love always wins. Love always wins. That makes me feel so much better, and to be able to finally accept myself despite external opinions. I think that was one of my biggest lessons, was to fully accept myself no matter what anyone in my life, my family, my friends thought of me. That's how I want to empower people to the power within themselves, and that they don't need any external validation in order to authentically be who they are and to be themselves and to fully love and accept themselves. I dealt with a lot of self-hatred for a long time because of my identity, and I felt that I couldn't be myself. I couldn't love who I wanted to love. I felt like I had to die. And I realized that was irrational, but it was the way that people made me feel. And so I stopped allowing those people to make me feel that way, and I started living a life that felt good, felt like bringing me joy, and a life that I wanted to live, and to not allow those external opinions to negatively impact my life or my choices or what I choose to do with my life, because I was living a life that everyone else wanted me to live, but not a life that was authentic to me. And so I was miserable. Of course I wanted to die, because I was living a life that wasn't authentic to me. And so now that I'm fully accepting my truth, and I'm speaking my truth, I'm releasing that, I'm breaking the cycle from this situation, because this dynamic with this older man and these things that were happening in my life was to push me to fully embrace my identity despite what anyone else thought of me. It allowed me to fearlessly accept myself for who I am despite what anyone thinks, so that I can start embodying that, and so I can start helping people through the things that I had to go through in my own life. This is the most vulnerable post I've ever made, and I'm shaking and I'm scared, but it's Sedona, and I feel that it's what I was meant to tell you guys today. I hope this video inspires you or helps you in some type of way.